Alright kiddos, so I've had a bunch of questions. This is a video to help explain the pop-up card workbook that I've assigned to you. Now, I've had a lot of questions, mostly because the videos that I gave you to watch are a little bit vague. They're not specific to this book. So those instructions aren't guidelines for this specifically, but they have the information on how to create all the pieces here. So you were expected, and the intention was that you would put that together. Because there's other information in those videos that we're going to be using later. So this book specifically, what you should have is you should have 7 pages. You should have your instructions. It gives you really brief how to do it here. Okay. It also breaks down where your score is going to come from. You'll have this page here, which is a single step parallel fold. This page here, which is a bird beak converging fold. It means it comes to the corner in both sides. You will have 2 of these pages. They are called V-step base. They're basically pages in the book. You're going to be gluing things to it. See, 1 and 2. You will have a multi-step parallel fold. And this piece, the label got cut off. I'm sorry about that, but it says name here, and it's got 2 dotted lines to fold along. This is your book cover. This is what makes it pretty at the end. Okay? These are the inserts for your V-step pages. There's 4 of them. There's 3 on this page. We have our right angle fold, which is 90-degree angle right here. We have our acute angle V fold, which is less than 90 degrees right here. Okay. We have our pointed V fold, which comes to a point. It's kind of like the bird beak, only this one detaches. And then the 4th one is here. This is the obtuse angle V fold, with this being greater than 90 degrees. Okay. On this last page as well, you've got a house to cut out, some eyes and some teeth, as well as these little attachment pieces. All of these pieces are necessary because I've given you the illustrations for the single step and the bird beak, and I will show that to you in just a minute. I'm going to show you the finished piece. So we have these 7 pages to work with. Put them aside for just now. And this is the teacher sample. All right. So this is the book cover. You see how I've got the 2 little dotted lines, one here and one there. So it makes a nice, neat little book when it's all done. And I've got the single step fold. Sorry, a student bent it. It's always fun. I have the single step fold with the house in. I expect you to actually color the house. This is just done so you can see how it's constructed. You have the multi-step fold. Oh, I missed the monster. You have your cute little monster. You can attach the pieces howsoever you see fit. Those little bars right here are used to connect your eyeballs so they bounce up from the head. But you can create this monster however you see fit. You can do him this way, or you can have him turn around and his eyes up here and his mouth down here, because he's really cute. All right. You can also give him angry eyes. The eyes are designed to go either way. They can be really sad and dopey, or they can be really angry. This is the multi-step. Okay. When it's done right, you can see bunches of little squares here. This is the right angle V fold in the V-step base. I put it in upside down, but it's not a big deal. All right. This is the obtuse angle right here. See how this angle is greater than 90 degrees? All right. This is the acute angle V fold. Smaller. I'll lean back a little bit. And then the pointed V fold. I don't care if you have it with the folds pointed out or if the folds pointed in. It doesn't really matter if I see the dotted lines. You're supposed to be creating pieces to attach to these to try and make illustrations so that in your final you can do it on your own, because you're only going to have 3 days in class to pull this off, okay? With actual cardstock, not just printed paper. So this is what it's going to look like when we're done. So we're going to move this page out of the way, and we are going to start by cutting all our pages down. If you read the instructions on the bottom, it says solid lines are cuts, dotted lines are folds. So we're going to start by cutting all of our solid lines. We're just going to cut the pages in half. I know it doesn't go all the way to the end. The printer just can't pull that off, guys. Sorry. All right, so we're going to cut the pages in half. Clump. We'll put these 2 pages. I'm going to cut them at the same time, but I'm going to put these aside since I'm attaching things to these. Okay, so there's these pages. I'm going to cut this one in half because this is the last page that I have. Okay, I apologize, guys. I don't have editing software, so this is going to be a little long. I'm going to put my bookend up here. I'm actually going to put my name on it. or better yet, teacher sample. Okay, I'm going to put this aside. That's the cover of my book. These are all inset pieces. I don't need these yet. I don't want them floating around where I can lose them, so I'm just going to set these aside over here under these pages. I'll cut them out as I need, and we will start here with these. We're going to start with the single step parallel. Now, the dotted line, we're going to fold along the dotted line. I'm going to actually fold it so that's outside so you guys can see it. Okay, so that dotted line becomes your fold. Use your fingernails to kind of crease it the rest of the way down. If you don't have a nice set of nails, use the back of your nail. You do have something covering up your fingertip. If you feel like straightening up the edges, you can, because sometimes they're not going to be perfectly even. All right, that's up to you if you want to do that. Y'all know I'm a little bit nutty, so I'm going to do it. And if you notice at this point, now it's really easy to get to the end of this line because it goes all the way to the fold, right, on both sides. So since they match, I'm just going to cut right through it. And I'm not going to go past the dotted line. I'm just going to cut exactly where the solid is. Womp womp, there we go. I have this dotted line here. I'm going to fold it this way. Try to keep it straight because it'll make it easier and function better. Fold it down really nice and hard. You're going to do it the other way. Fold it right exactly on top of that same fold and press it in. And then you're going to open your page up. And this is where it gets tricky because you have to actually reach behind it and pop it through and then fold it the other way. See how here's the page. All right, this is how it folds naturally. I'm going to reach my finger through, excuse me, and push that forward, and then I'm going to take that fold and crease it the way I want it to go. So now when the page folds, it tries to do it this way. You're going to have to fold all three of these backwards to the way you originally did it, okay? So you're having to flip those folds back through and refold them. Take your time and be patient. It'll work just fine. That's the first one. The second one we're going to do is the bird beak. Just like before, I'm going to fold this on top of itself. Match my corners up, should match right up to that line. If you hold it down like this and you peel it out, it'll be a more even fold, okay? So I'm going to fold it this way. Once again, my solid line, my cut line is now on that fold. So I can go right from the outside edge and cut that to the end, whoop, right there. Okay, now these are fold lines. Just like before, you're going to lift up the piece and you're going to actually fold it so that it's on that dotted line as best as humanly possible. There's one on either side, so you should be able to see it regardless of the direction. Work that fold down. You got to do the top and the bottom the same way. It goes a little bit past the dotted line. It's okay, I promise. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, so we fold it one side. I'm going to flip it over and fold it the other side. Okay. We're going to put it back to its natural position. We're going to open the book up. And just like before, we're going to have to pop it through. We have to fold it against its natural direction. So we're just going to fold from the dotted line down because we want the page to open the other way. And you're going to have to force it a little bit, okay? It's going to fight you a little. But you have to get it so that it pops out. And then once you have that popped out, you have to reinforce the fold. So it's on the inside now. The fold's on the inside, so I'm going through my page to fold that in. I'm going to do the same thing now on the bottom. I'm going to pop that section through, and I'm going to sit here and work the folds I have. I'm going to work the folds I have until they're exactly where I want them to be, and then I'm going to put them back in and re-crease them inside the book. That way, when it opens up, wah, 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 so cute. All right, so there's the second page. This is the third page. Okay, just like before, start by folding it in half. That's the one that goes all the way to the edges. Fold it in half. Make sure your corners line up. Hold them down. Spread them out. And then crease the snot out of that fold, man. Make it do what it's supposed to be doing. Crease it. Now you've got 1, 2, 3. You see all of your scissors right here, or all of your cut lines right here. You cut to the cut line. Cut the whole length of that cut line. It's okay if you go a little bit past it. The world's not going to end. Don't freak out. All right. Now, before I do the inside pieces, I'm going to go ahead and fold this bad boy because it's just easier. You can go ahead and cut all of it and do it that way. It's fine too. It's not going to hurt anything. It's just a little bit more awkward because you've got all these tiny little pieces to deal with. Fold it both directions, crease it. I'm going to do the same thing now with this second section. I'm going to cut to the end of my solid cut line. Wonk. And the end of the solid cut line. Wonk. All right. And we'll fold it both ways along the dotted. And then I've got one more cut to make. Don't cut yourself, please. Cut to the end of the solid line. It's okay if you go past it a little bit. End of the solid line. And cut along the fold. Or fold along the dotted. Fold along the dotted. Fold along the dotted. Sorry, guys. Misspoke. Alright. You're going to open the book up. Because this one is so big, it takes a little bit of extra effort. The outside, the biggest one, you fold opposite. You're going to need to do the fold in the middle, which I missed that one, so let me refold that. You're going to need to do the fold in the middle of the page. I think I still made it uneven. Good grief. Come here. There we go. Fold in the middle of the page. And you're going to need to refold up here at the edge into the opposite direction. The middle one is going to stay exactly the way it was, and then you're going to need to pop the smallest one through. Okay? You'll need to recrease all of your folds so they move in the opposite direction. And that's how that piece works. It's going to give you a little bitty outside piece. Make sure you shut the page all the way and just kind of reinforce those folds you just made, because it's a lot of folds. But that's page number 3. Ah, no big deal. Look at this. We're flying! Alright, now we've got all these pages. We're going to go ahead and fold all the V-steps, just like we folded all the others, just so they're ready for us. Okay, these are all V-step bases. It doesn't matter which V-fold you put on which base. They're not labeled for that. The V-fold just needs to attach to a V-step base. Alright, you'll have 4 of them. So I'm lining up my corners. I really need some Hollywood magic editing. But I don't have it right now, so I apologize for the video being a little long. Fold the corners. You'll end up with 4 packets. You'll notice, if you line these bad boys up, these are the pages you should have. Stacking them neatly, the book will go right around this. This bookend, right here, will wrap right around it once it's folded. But we're not doing that yet, okay? So we've got the first 3 pages that are all pretty much standalone. And then we've got these pages. So I'm going to cut out 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. I'm going to leave these alone because I just don't want them floating around. I don't need them yet. Excuse me. So they can sit up here by themselves. You cut the outside solid line first. So cut them out. And I'm going to cut out all 4 pieces. Make sure you're cutting as straight as humanly possible. Okay. Try to stay on the lines as best as possible, but if you're off a little bit, it's not going to be too bad. You cut a big old chunk and we're going to have a different problem. I want you to notice that that's a solid line. That needs to snip. Alright, these are all scrap pieces, don't need. Over here, I'm going to do the same thing. I've got 3 more to cut out. Now, for simplicity purposes, I'm just going to cut the whole batch out. First and foremost, cut along this line. Whee! I'm going to cut down, the first 2 are even, the triangular one, or the triangle is a little bit bigger, so be wary of that. So we'll just cut down here. We'll go through the triangle. Okay. Line back up. I'm not worried about cutting the details out yet, guys. I'm not. And that's because at the end of the day, I can still always cut more paper. It's not a big deal. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut this triangle out of here, the pointed V fold out, because it's a straight line and I can. So there's one. And then I'm going to come over here and cut these out. Take a big piece of scrap out of here because I don't need it. I'm going to cut down this long line right here to separate the two. And then I'm just going to cut all the angles out of it that I need to. I'll take this piece right here and just cut all these little feet off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, that one's done. Cut the feet off of this one. Get rid of all these extra angles that we don't need. That one's done. And then there's a little bit down here that needs to be cut out, so make sure you get that too. You may have to do additional cutting depending upon how you set it up, and that's okay. If you don't need the paper, there's no point in it being on the thing. Alright, so we have these first 3 pieces built all the way over here on top of the houses. We have our V-step and our V-step bases. So we're going to start here with the pointed one. We're going to fold down the middle. It's the easiest fold to make. So let's go ahead and make that one first. Crease it just like before. Fold it both ways because that's what makes it work. And then we're going to fold those little tabs down. Those tabs are for the gluing. It doesn't matter really which direction. Keep in mind that good craftsmen try to hide their connection points. So as you're building, think about what you can do to hide connection points. And again, you can cut additional paper off if you need to. Like if I wanted to cut these pointy feet off and just snip them off, I totally can do that. Alright, so this is how this thing looks. So that means when you open up the base, it should kind of come all the way down here. Now here's the thing. Your primary fold, this fold right here, this is true on all of those, this fold right here needs to line up to your book page. Okay? So it needs to line up evenly to that or it's not going to work as well as it could. So my recommendation, first and foremost, glue one side first. Okay? Because understand, this has got to be able to close. Now, I could actually fold this if I really wanted to be a good craftsman. You saw how it was set before, right? The feet were in front of it. I'm going to fold it the opposite direction so that the feet stay on the inside. Of course, that means I have to cut a little bit more off the feet. So I'm going to cut there and there so that the feet aren't as big because I want them to go on the inside. That's your choice. I'm not going to count points off here. Just good craftsmanship, good thought process. I'm going to put a little bitty line, a really thin little bitty line as soon as the glue actually comes out of the thing, going down the length here. So you can barely even see the glue. And I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to rub it in. Oh my gosh, Miss Bergman, I have glue on my fingers. Yeah, it'll dry off. You'll be fine. Alright, so I'm going to line this edge up. And I'm going to place the one side. Okay, and then I'm going to fold it. This is the best way to truly make sure it matches. I've got the one side folded down, rubbed it on. I'm going to put a little bit of glue here on this end. Just a thin little line. Okay, and then I'm going to use my finger to kind of rub it in. And then I'm going to close the book. Make sure that's rubbed on there really good. And that'll make it work. Okay? But remember, that point needs to touch. This fold, however you do it, has got to touch that center fold in your book, or it's not going to work. Okay? So there's one. We're going to do the Acute Angle. It's Acute Angle, not because it's adorable, but because it's tiny. It's smaller than 90 degrees. So we'll fold that down the middle, right there on my dotted line. I'll fold it both directions just because you're supposed to. It makes the fold work better. Just do it. All right. I'm going to fold my tabs right here, foot 1 and foot 2. We'll have Dr. Seuss come with a cat in a hat. Will be great. Okay. I'm going to fold in both directions because I have a feeling I want to go the other way. Just because. The exact same situation as before. In this case, I'm going to do this right here. I'm going to open it up. Remember how it's going to close, okay? Think about that. Think about how you want it to open and how you want it to close. So I'm going to have that go right here. So I'm going to hold that in place. I'm going to lay on some glue. Hello, glue. Notice how little I'm doing, guys. This isn't beaded up. You can't even hardly see it. Smear it on so it's nice and even. Lay that flat and press it in. Close the fold in half. Okay, so close up your V-fold. Lay on some more glue and smear it down so it's nice and smooth without beating up. And close that book on top of it. All right, rub that in so it's nice and neat. Rub that glue off my fingers. Okay, and then it pops right open. Reinforce it, shut it back down, put it aside. Next, fold, and these are all the exact same process, over and over and over. They just look a little different because of the angle. This is the right angle V-fold because that's 90 degrees. So we're going to fold the middle fold, squish, squish, both directions. I'm going to fold the tabs in both directions. Make sure those folds are nice and strong, okay? Don't give me half folds. If you don't fold it nice and strong, you don't crease that really, really well, it's not going to work as well. Take the time to do it right, okay? It doesn't take that much longer. I'm pretty much at 22 minutes right now. 30 minutes, I'll have the whole book built. And that's with me talking a lot. All right? In this case, I want the feet to go the other direction. Okay, I've got generally where I want that to stand. I know you're not seeing it, but I am making sure that that point right there in my V-fold is lining up to the inside of the book. They have to match. So I've got that there now. I'm going to fold that down because that's where I want it to land. I'm going to put on some glue. I'm going to smear it around and flatten that into my book. Then I am going to fold my V-fold in half, put some more glue on the bottom tab, and close that book on top of it. Now guys, I'm not going to put the attachments. I'm not going to put these in here. You see how that works with the teacher sample that's already here. This is just how you build the stuff. Everything else attaches pretty easily. And then it'll open. Reinforce your folds. I think I've had it stand straight up now. Whee! All right, and close it back down. Put it aside. The last one, right here, start with the fold in the middle. It's almost like you've done this before, right? Okay, start with the fold in the middle. Fold it both ways. Fold your tabs. Whomp. Make sure you fold those things both directions so you can figure out how you want them to set. It'll make them work better. Okay, I actually want them to go the other direction, so I'm going to fold them this way again. Open up your book. In this case, I'm going to have it go this way, because that's just what I want it to do. You can make it work that way too. Okay, then I'm going to have it go this way. So make sure that your center line and the center of the book are lined up. Fold that down so you have access to the tab. Get some glue on it. Open that up a little bit more. There we go. Smear that in so it's nice and even. You're covering the whole thing. Make sure you don't use too much glue, for the love of all Pete. This is just regular paper. It will not hold up to too much glue. It's not going to end well. Alright, so rub that in. I got some extra glue over here, so I got to rub that up real quick. Get it off my hands. Fold along the fold with the tab opened back up, or fold along that center fold. We'll put a little bit more glue. Whee! Nice little thin line here. Smooth it out with your finger so that it covers the whole tab. Glue sticks work too, but they just don't cover as well. Uh-oh, I have run into a problem. It looks like I put my fold down in such a way that I'm going to fold the paper. So, having messed that up a little bit, it's okay. I'll try to peel this up, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to. Oh no, it's over, it's over, it's the end of the world. Nah, not right, not quite. I'm just going to line it up here. My dotted lines are going to show this time. Oh no. Remember guys, this is about construction. If you make a mistake, it's okay. I accidentally set it up so that this fold creased over so that when I closed the book, I was going to fold the paper on the inside, which is not my goal. I need a little bit more glue. Because I've torn that now, I have to be a little bit careful. It's got a little bit, it's a little bit thinner now. I could attach more paper to it and do a little bit of paper surgery, but that's not going to hurt it for the workbook, okay? This is just practice. This is to teach you guys how to do this quickly. And recrease. There we go. Okay, pops up. It pops up. Oh my gosh, it pops up. It's so weird. In fact, if I actually do it this way. No, not really. We'll stick it with that. We'll stick it so it pops up like that. That's fine. So now we're going to lay these out in the order that I want them to be in the book. Okay, put this guy right here in the middle. Again, I'm not going to attach the pieces to it, kiddos. I want you guys to do that. But these are going to be my pages. So what we're going to do first and foremost is we're going to attach them together. So put the fold side against the fold side. I'm going to put glue on this one because I think that one just go along the outside edge mostly. Okay, you can come in places where you know it's going to match, like I know it's going to match all the way down to about there. So I'll put some glue here and give myself those rectangles. Smooth it out a little bit. All right, but fold to fold, glue on the one that's not going to be covered up. Make sure you line those folds up. If they don't line, uh-oh, no, it touched it. But not a big deal, guys. It's wet. It moves. Don't you love my little miniature freakouts that aren't really freakouts? Yeah, no, they're great. Okay, so we're going to move it around and flex it as needed until those corners line up. It kind of moved on me a little bit more than I wanted it to. So it's fighting with me a little bit. Not the end of the world or anything, just annoying. And that's okay. Make sure you line them up as best as you can and try not to get glue on the inside of your folds because it will shut your book down. Okay? That didn't line up all that evenly, so while it's still wet, I'm going to quickly pull that apart and try it again. Okay, line up my corners and my fold. There we go. That way the edges of the pages line up. There we go. See, that's what I wanted. So nice. This one, watch out, be careful. It's very thin here. If you get glue on these extra pieces, it'll all attach together. So because this is the smaller area, I'm going to put the glue on this one. Once again, my folds are touching. Oh my gosh, they're touching. It's so weird. Okay, I'm just going to go around the outside edge. I'm going to smear it just a little bit, but not too much, because I don't want it to dry out on me. I'm just going to smooth it so I don't end up with a whole bunch of bubbles. Again, be careful not to get glue in places you don't want it, but you definitely need it in the corners. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to line up the corners and edges of my pages so that they're as even as possible, because that's what makes it look neat. Smear that together. Open them up and make sure they still, oh no, I got a little bit of glue, so I'm going to have to detach that before it dries because there's a little bit of glue that got on the inside here. Wipe those areas up. Make sure this one opens. Yep, there's my bird beak. And there's my V-step, or my single step. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing here. Doesn't matter what order you put these in, guys. I don't mind which order the V-steps are in. I'm going to put the glue on this one again because it's smaller. That one's got a lot of places to attach, so it's less of a big deal. A really thin, teeny tiny line. Okay? Make sure you get in the corners. Smear it down so it's not bumpy. Oh no, I've got glue all over my fingers. Yeah, it wipes off, man. Get over it. It's fine. Okay? And then you're going to attach, again, corner, fold to fold, and all the edges will line up. Take your time and don't rush. If it messes up, pull it apart before it dries gently and fix it. So now I'm presented with pages that are all flat. All of these next pages will be flat. So I will just really quickly go in my corners. I missed the corner. Add a nice little smear. Blend those smears down a little bit so that they're not gooby. No big green gobbers of greasy, grimy gopher guts or anything along those lines. Line up the corners and the edge. Make sure it's neat. Take your time. Smooth it out. Same thing. Folds together. Corners. Dot, 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 dot. Please don't use a whole big lot. Smear it. Look at how not afraid I am about getting glue on my fingers. It washes off with water, guys. It's not going to hurt you. Okay, get those corners in there. Line up that edge so it's smooth. Flatten it out. Whee! There we go. I got one more. That's all eraser stuff. Looks like eraser stuff. It's really glue. Anyways, one more. We'll go in the corners one more time. There we go. Lightly smear the glue. Make sure it's nice and spread out evenly. The lumpies will cause well, they won't really cause problems. They just won't look as good. Corners and edges. Oh, missed. There we go. Slide that just a little bit. Okay, now look at the end. See how nice and neat that is? Make sure it all opens up. Go through it while it's still wet enough to fix it. Oh no, it's glued. There we go. That's better. Make sure all the things work. That one, there we go. Yeah, that one glued down a little bit too far. There we go. Much better. Okay? Now you have your bookend. Notice it's got two folds, so you're going to need to fold it twice. So get to the first dotted line and take your time. Make sure that you're finding it. And fold it down. Oh, it's a little uneven, so I'm going to have to straighten that up a little bit. No big. This time you're only going to fold it one way. Okay? And then do the other side. And it's going to fight you a little bit. You're folding it awfully close together. It can be a little bit annoying, and that's okay. Just take your time. Struggle with it a little bit. It's not going to hurt you. Alright? So now you've got two folds. Sometimes you might have to recrease them to make sure they're nice and sharp. Let's see how that looks. That's nice. Okay? So now what you're going to do is you're going to open that back up. You're going to put some glue on the inside, just like with the pages. You go in the corners and then just kind of smear it on there, like a pat of butter. Smear. Smear cream cheese. Sorry. Yeah. Anyways, smear that all out. It's S-M-E-A-R, not S-H-M-E-A-R. I'm just playing. Just deal with it. Okay? Make sure that the fold goes into the middle of the book. So line it up carefully. The pages are going to be a little bit bigger than the bookend, guys. It's okay. The book is really just to protect all these open spaces, okay? And do the same thing on the other page. Dot in the corners. Don't go down the binding. If you go down this binding, you're going to make it so your book won't open. Don't go down the binding. Just the flat, just the flat page. See, I didn't think that all the way through. I started doing all that. I ended up with wet glue in that opening. try not to get any glue. You might be better off actually gluing on the page itself instead of on the bookend, because I'm going to have to go back in there and fix that here in just a second, because I think I just glued my stick. Nope, I salvaged it. I need to leave that open, though, because I got a little bit of glue under here, and if I close that book, it's going to glue the piece down, which will kill the entire point of the book. So I'll just leave that open. But that is what your book should look like. You are responsible for decorating it and adding in the parts and pieces, attaching the eyes and the ear or the teeth and the house. Those have to go in there, and you have to create illustrations for the rest of it. That's it in a nutshell, kiddos. 35 minutes. Your turn.